Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see if those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. Listen, hold on. So, what I'm going to do today, I did a video earlier talking about Drake and his lawsuit against his record label, UMG. So what I want to do here is kind of go over what he has filed. It's considered to be a verified petition. Uh, so from what we read from the information from my last video, that this is pretty much like a fact finding information. And so I wanted to go over the lawsuit, and I also want to be able to go over UMG's response to this verified petition, this fact finding information, and blah, blah, blah. But just some housekeeping. Please like, please subscribe, please share this video if you care. I just want to be able to go over and get this information out to you. It is a 17-page petition. It was filed today at about 9:30, about 10 o'clock a.m., 9:59 to be exact. Let me place it on my screen. Let me share my screen, and we will go over this lawsuit. Let's see how we can get it on here. I just want to make sure this is how I want it. That looks good. All right, so let's go over this. So this is they filed this in New York, New York County Clerk. So it's the Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of New York, in the matter of the application. So is this a state? Okay. It says filed New York County Clerk. It doesn't say New York Southern. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to read to see where it is, but it just says Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of New York, in the matter of application of Frozen Moment LLC. Now, that is Drake's limited liability corporation. That's their corporation. And let's go ahead and get into this. We'll be going over this. There are going to be some things I'm going to hit. I don't want to make this stream long, but I do want to go over this lawsuit with you. It's for an order pursuant to Section 3102 of the Civil Practice Laws and Regulation to compel a pre-action disclosure from UMG Recordings, Inc. and Spotify USA, Inc. They are the respondents. The Frozen Moments LLC, which is Drake's LLC, is the petitioner. It says here, Petitioner Frozen Moments, LLC, and it'll be thereon known as Petitioner or Frozen Moments, by and through its undersigned attorneys, respectively petition the court pursuant to New York civil practice law and rule for an order granting limited pre-action disclosure from respondents, UMG, recordings, and they're going to be notified as UMG, and Spotify USA, which would be here on now known as Spotify, in directing the preservation of relevant evidence in the possession, custody, or control of UMG. So again, as I had talked to you all about in the article that I read from Billboard, this is basically a fact-finding information mission that they're going through. They want they want the courts to order UMG to preserve all their information so that they can go through and check to make sure that what they believe is going on is or is not going on. So let's go into the nature of the dispute. In his memo to staff reflecting highlights of 2021, the CEO of UMG, Lucian Grange, remarked on it being harder than ever for artists to break through the noise. 60,000 songs are added to Spotify every day. Spotify is the world's most popular audio streaming subscription service. As of the end of the third quarter of 2024, Spotify boasted more than 640 million monthly active users and 252 million subscribers. Spotify pays music companies like UMG for the right to license songs so it can play them on its streaming and subscription platforms. In 2023 alone, Spotify, look at this, paid more than $9 billion in royalties to music labels and producers. Not necessarily UMG, but just $9 million to all the record companies and producers and all these other stuff for the right to be able to play the music on these streaming services. It says here, hip hop is one of the most popular genres. So if you didn't believe this before, this is telling you that hip hop is one of the most popular genres. So it tells me if it's more popular, that means that it has the ability to make a lot of money, which is so interesting. And I'm wondering if the artists are making as much money as the producers and the record labels. But let's continue. Amounting to nearly a quarter of all streams on Spotify globally in 2023. Spotify and UMG have a long-standing and symbiotic business relationship, and that's important. Symbiotic business relationship is that means that they work in tandem with each other to make sure that their business models work in conjunction with each other. As one of Spotify's early supporters, UMG entered into a multi-year global license agreement with Spotify in 2020. UMG and Spotify collaborate on strategic marketing campaigns and products, and in 2024 announced an expansion of their strategic partnership through which Spotify will, quote, amplify music discovery and social interaction and enhance fan experience across the platform for UMG's family of artists and songwriters. Based on UMG's financial reporting, Spotify paid UMG around $2.2 billion in 2023, which amounted to 19% of UMG's total revenues in 2023. 19%. That's a good portion. That's almost 20% of their revenue coming from Spotify. And below here, these are all the different places where they're citing their sources and all this information. Number 4, again, where this is the nature of the complaint. Streaming is essential to UMG's current bottom line and its future business strategy. In a report related to the third quarter of 2024, UMG noted a nearly 29% year-over decrease in downloads and other digital revenue because of the, quote, continued format shifts towards streaming. Because one of the things I noticed on a couple of things in regards to this. Haven't you noticed that maybe like 10 years ago, maybe 10 or 12 years ago, when you purchased music, you owned the music, you had a physical copy of music. Now that when you purchase music, you don't have a physical copy, you have a digital copy. Now you can burn a physical copy if you want to, but basically you have a digital copy and you keep continually to pay for that digital copy. So that seems like how they're making all of their money. That's interesting. UMG's long-term strategy relies on, quote, accelerating the growth of and monetization from streaming and prescriptions. In October 2024, UMG unveiled a new slogan, Streaming 2.0, which illustrates the importance UMG places on saturating the streaming market. I would be interested to see if there are any other record labels with this particular or same model. In 2024, UMG did not rely on chance or even ordinary business practices to break through the noise on Spotify and likely other music platforms. It instead launched a campaign to manipulate and saturate the streaming service and airways with a song, Not Like Us, in order to make that song go viral, including using bots and pay-to-play agreements. Now, again, I am reading, if you've just joined the stream, I am reading the lawsuit that Drake has, or this petition for a fact-finding mission for Drake that's filed against UMG. And this is the information that they're using. Now, why is this important? If you've been living under a rock, Drake and Kendrick Lamar has been into this rap battle beef. Through what all the pundits say and all through sources, uh, uh, Kendrick has won this rap battle. Now, how he did this is the fact that he put out a bunch of diss records behind Drake. One diss song that he put out here, Not Like Us, if you listen to it, accuses Drake of being a PDF file and used the information, accused him of being a PDF file, and everybody around him being suspect and possibly being PDF files. Now, this information is fully, you can go to the internet, you can fully pull this information down and out. Uh, there's videos with Drake in concert kissing on a 17-year-old. There are videos and pictures of young social influencers who are under the age, who are at parties that Drake has filed. There has been rumors of him having a close relationship with Millie Bobby Brown when she was underage. And there is somebody in his camp named Baca who has had some SA trafficking charges against him. So there is just information swirling around Drake and swirling around the camp in regards to this thing. Now, is it true? There's nothing that I have seen. There's no police reports or anything like that showing that they are investigating Drake for these charges. Again, all of this came out from a rap beef, because when Drake did his his diss track, he had espoused that allegedly Kendrick Lamar was not with his girlfriend, that his current girlfriend and the mother of his children was dating his best friend Dave Free, and that their baby, one of her babies, was by Dave Free. He also put out there that Kendrick Lamar was supposed to have been physically abusing his mother of his children. So both parties were putting out information back and forth and back and forth. But that's not, I just put that information out there so you can understand the concept and the scope of what's going on. But that's not what this is about. This is about Drake saying that, I guess Drake and his camp believe that that song wasn't enough to get as much traction as they got. And so he's saying that, and him and his camp is saying that UMG exercised using bots and exercise using pay to play agreements in order for this music to come out. Now, the pay to play agreements is colloquially known as payola. This was the thing that they would do at radio stations, but probably in the past 15 years, radio stations have not been the purveyors of the music industry, so to speak. Usually it is online platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and all these other different places where you can, Amazon Music, all these places that you can go and you can listen to the music, Pandora. All of those places at this point are those places now where music companies are trying to get their information, or trying to get their artist information played or streamed, as we call it. Here we go. Number 6, UMG released Not Like Us or the song on May 4th, 2024. Pursuant to various contractual rights, UMG, via its division Interscope Records, because I think Kendrick Lamar's division is Interscope Records of UMG, and Drake's division of UMG is Republic, has exclusive control over the licensing of the song. On information and belief, here's the key word, belief. So this tells me, this word belief, and again, you lawyers and you pundits, you all let me know that there is some information that Drake has about UMG employing this pay to play or whatever they're doing. He's probably been a recipient of it and has probably had his pockets lined because of this practice. But that's just me. I'm going to continue. That word belief makes me see that. UMG charged Spotify licensing rates 30% lower than its usual licensing rates for Not Like Us, in exchange for Spotify affirmatively recommending the song to users who are searching for other unrelated songs and artists. Now, if you were into the video that I just did, and go back and watch that video that it talked about Drake suing Kendrick or suing UMG. Um, he is basically saying that when you go to that Spotify search engine and you type in something like certified lover boy, Kendrick Lamar's song is going to show up. Now, I did do an example of that in that video. And when I put in Certified Lover Boy came up as a album, but Certified, when I put in Certified Lover Boy, Not Like Us did show up in the search engine as well. So both of them came up. One came up as an album, one came up as a single, and another single of Drake's came up as well. But go back to that video, you'll see what I'm talking about. Neither UMG or Spotify disclosed that Spotify had received compensation of any kind in exchange for the recommending songs. On information and belief, Spotify pays UMG licensing fees through the wires or mails. UMG directly through Interscope also conspired with and paid currently unknown parties to use bots to artificially inflate the spread of Not Like Us and deceive consumers into believing the song was more popular than it was in reality. Now, why is this important? Because if you followed any election in any of the past 3 elections, one of the things that there are companies, I know there's one in Israel, there's one that used to be in the Ukraine, and I know that there's one in Bosnia, I think it is. These are companies that different agencies can pay for them to create online personalities, online different things, and they will influence. They'll influence. They're on Twitter, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on different places. These quote unquote bots will influence people to go to something or put out information that may be truthful or may be false or may be misleading, so that you as the consumer will look at this information and believe, hey, this is how things are going, this is how the stuff is working out. And they're saying that according to these bots and putting this information in, making pages, they were inflating the song, people playing this song over and over and over again. And Drake and his company believes that they were untoward. Okay, so we know that bots and things like that exist. This is what he's saying that's happened. One individual known to Petitioner revealed publicly on a popular podcast that Mr. Kendrick Lamar's Duckworth label, i.e. Interscope, paid him via third parties to use bots to achieve 30 million streams on Spotify in the first day of release of Not Like Us, with the goal of jump-starting the song and spread and turning it into a crazy hit on the platform. Now, if you're wondering what this is, if you know that DJ Academics had somebody on his one of his podcast streams, and he came on here and said that somebody paid him, Kendrick Lamar's agents, Kendrick Lamar, he basically said like Kendrick Lamar's camp paid him to create accounts and bots and things like that to move this song and to make this song popular. Now, I don't know if anybody has debunked that, but that is where this information that was coming from. The whistleblower describes Spotify as the easiest platform to bot because it does not, like other streaming platforms, have certain security measures when it comes to bot protection. The whistleblower further revealed that on May 6, 2024, an individual affiliated with Interscope sent him a payment of $2,500 via the digital payment platform Zelle, which is owned by a number of banks, and that he was promised another $2,500 and a percentage of the song's total sales for this initial push. Again, if you want to hear more information about that, you have to go back to DJ Academic's stream around this time, where the person who said this information apparently called in and told DJ Academics this information. So let me we'll go to here, number 5. Let's see who is all here, what's going on. Somebody said Drake the Clown. Excuse me. Let's see. How you doing? Is it SKNL? Drake the Clown, Kendrick the Queen, Kendrick 1, because he brought the truth in the people. Hello, Donna. Drake is showing up like a 7-year-old again. 25-year-old kissing a 17-year-old on stage. If you tell me that's fair, then this world is truly done. Okay. Kendrick's new album is fire. We love Kendrick. All right. All right. Thank you all so much for joining the stream and watching. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me. I really do appreciate it. So let's continue. We've got a lot to cover on here. On information and belief, UMG hired another third party. Excuse me. On information and belief, UMG hired other unknown third parties to use bots to promote Not Like Us and also to inflate the streams of Not Like Us music video and the video, which UMG first published on July 4th, 2024. UMG appears to have used similar tactics with other streaming services. On information and belief, UMG paid or approved payments to Apple Inc. to have its voice-activated digital assistant Siri purposely misdirect users to Not Like Us. Online sources reported that when user asked Siri to play the album Certified Lover Boy by recording artist Aubrey Drake, Graham doing business as Drake, Siri instead played Not Like Us, which contained the lyric Certified Pedophile, an allegation against Drake. UMG engaged in similar pay-to-play schemes to increase the airplay of Not Like Us on the radio. Petition has obtained information from a third party indicating that at least one UMG employee paid payments to an independent radio promoter, serving as an intermediary, who had agreed to transfer those payments to certain radio station and or radio station employees. These radio stations subsequently played or caused to be played Not Like Us without disclosing that they had been paid to do so. This practice, known as what we commonly known it to be as payola, is prohibited by the Communications Act of 1934 and has been the subject of regulatory scrutiny by a number of executive agencies. In 2006, UMG agreed to pay $12 million in a settlement with the New York Attorney General following an investigation involving accusations that UMG executives had used a broad array of pay-for-play tactics to secure radio airplay for music. In connection with UMG's settlement, then New York Attorney General Elliot Spitzer explained consumers have a right not to be misled by the way in which music they hear on the radio is selected. He continued to say that pay for play makes a mockery of claims that only the best or most popular music is broadcast. Separately, in 2005, UMG was sued by two radio promotion companies alleging fraudulent pay to play practices. So, now, if my understanding was Drake out during this time when all of this was happening? Did Drake benefit from this back in the day? Y'all let me know. Legal pundits, y'all let me know. People who have been following Drake, was he prominent in this age, 2005, 2006? Y'all let me know. While historically payola has been thought in terms of paying radio stations to play songs, in February 2020, the Federal Trade Commission released guidance stating that by paying an influencer, now mind you, influencers are, if you're unfamiliar, let me finish. Paying an influencer to pretend that their endorsement or review is untainted by a financial relationship, and they consider this to be illegal payola. So what am I talking about? Here's how I look at that. You have a lot of social media influencers that review songs. And the way this sounds is that they're alleging that some social media influencers are have a financial relationship with these music groups, with these record labels and groups, to be able to get a monetary payment for liking a song or saying a song is great, or in influencing their large following to play this song. And usually that's on YouTube. I know there's podcasts and everything like that, but in my opinion, it's sounding like they're talking about YouTube influencers and things like that. On information and belief, UMG employed a similar scheme by paying social media influencers to promote and endorse the song and video. For example, petitioners understand that UMG paid the popular NFR podcast, which has nearly 300,000 subscribers on YouTube and over 330 followers on X, to promote Not Like Us and its video without disclosing the payment. So they've name dropped the whole podcast, y'all. As part of this deal with UMG, the NFR podcast published podcast episodes, tweets, and other content publicly about the song. And in a sea of change for UMG internal policy, UMG removed the song's copyright restrictions on YouTube and Twitch, thereby whitelisting the song for the first time in UMG history, which further incentivized influencers to spread the song. Now, that is very telling, because I remember a lot of the people that I follow who review songs and do reviews. They were mentioning that during a period of time that UMG removed copyright restrictions for a certain period of time when that song came out. So if they did a review of this song, maybe like a couple of days or something like that after the song has been played or something, when they dropped it, that they were not getting copyright strikes. So I remember a few of the folks on YouTube explaining that. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Y'all, we love Kat. Kat is one of my favorite YouTubers out here. All right, y'all follow Kat if you haven't followed her already. So number 13 says UMG's scheme to ensure Not Like Us broke through on Spotify and elsewhere worked. Not Like Us broke Spotify records, as Interscope posted on its X account, and they give a screenshot of what the NFR podcast uh, tweeted out, X'd out. I don't know exactly what X says anymore about if it's a tweet or not, but they talk about this. It says Kendrick, and we're going to read it. Interscope reposted this, and it says NFR podcast, which has a check mark. Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us becomes the fastest rap song to reach 300 million Spotify streams. It only took 35 days. Now, if you go to YouTube, I think the video has like 195 million views to this day. To date, Not Like Us has almost 900 million streams on Spotify and holds the record for the biggest single day streams of a hip hop song and the most streamed diss track in Spotify history. Not Like Us has spent 27 weeks on Spotify's city chart for New York City, which ranks the weekly streaming popularity of songs by its users in New York, New York. And that's not information that you can't pull up and find. I think during that first week, everybody was playing that. So I would think a lot of that would have been organic. I know that this was a rap battle. Everybody was fiending for more information, for more songs, for more stuff. So, and I know that people had played songs over and over and over again. Now, am I disclaiming what he's saying? No. I am just saying, if we all remember back in April and May, anytime anything dropped, everybody got hundreds of millions of streams of those particular songs, even some of Drake's songs. So let's be real. Within a week of its initial leak, Not Like Us broke the record for most streams songs in a 7-day period with 96 million streams. After UMG published a video, Not Like Us returned to the number one spot on the Billboard Hot 100, and in the same week, the song was streamed an additional 53.8 million times and played on the radio an additional 40 million times. From July 4th to August 8th, the video ranked first on YouTube's weekly top music video charts. On November 13th, 2024, the iHeartRadio leaderboard reported that Not Like Us was the second most popular song on the platform. Now, one of the things I think they have to even keep in consideration, and I think people like the song. It's supposed to be a little bop. People like a little bop that they can play in their car. They can go to the club and dance to. They can clean their house with. They can do a whole bunch of stuff. In November, I think what got Drake was the fact that HBU season and football season came through, and all the bands were playing Not Like Us, from the junior high school, the high school, the college. all of these bands were playing not like us. So, and playing it multiple times. And so if you're talking about students and things like that, they are bopping this song all the time in the car. Okay, here we go. On New York radio, Not Like Us remains, as of the date of this filing, a top 40 hit on popular music and hip hop station, including Z100, Power 105.1, and WQHT 97.1 FM, Hot 97. From May 9th, 2024 to August 15th, 2024, the song was among the top 10 of all songs streamed in New York. UMG touted the record-breaking success. On July 16th, 2024, Interscope reposted on X that the song had become the most selling rap song of 2024 in the US. On July 24th, 2024, UMG posted on its X account about the song charting as the most streamed song of the week. On August 29th, 2024, UMG posted on S with a link to a Summer Hits 2024 playlist by Spotify and the caption, Song of the Summer. All right. UMG Fam lands 4 out of 5 on Spotify. Birds of a Feather by it. Okay, let me see how this is. The UMG family landed 4 out of 5 on Spotify. Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, Hot to Go by Chappell Roan, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, and Espresso by Sabrina Ann Lynn. Is that Sabrina Carpenter? Is that her? UMG schemes to artificially inflate the popularity of Not Like Us were motivated at least in part by the desire of executives in Interscope to maximize their own profits. UMG executives have an annual incentive program pursuant to which they are rewarded for meeting and surpassing sales and profits and profit projections, among other metrics. The incentives are largely based on the specific UMG division, that's Interscope, rather than the performance of UMG more generally. For example, the annual incentive or bonus of Interscope CEO John Janik is based 90% on the financial success of Interscope and only 10% on the financial success of UMG generally. So basically, he's saying that Interscope, outside of what his record label is doing, has a business model to where they're making a certain amount of money that I guess his business, his imprint under Universal Music Group is not. Thus, on information and belief, Mr. Janik and other executives at Interscope have been incentivized to maximize the financial success of Interscope through the promotion of Not Like Us and its revitalizing impact on the artist's prior record recording catalog, including his first 5 studio albums, which are owned by Interscope. And I'm just gonna tell you right now that that is so much hate on a level that you can't get me to understand. You can't get me to understand it. Hold on, y'all. Oh, Lord, what's going on? All right, I'm just checking to make sure the chat's not moving. So let's continue. Petitioners have received information that UMG has been taking steps in an apparent effort to conceal its schemes, including but not limited to terminating employees associated with or proceed to having loyalty to Drake. We're almost done. Indeed, UMG has demonstrated that it has no interest in taking responsibility for its misconduct. Over the past several months, Drake has repeatedly sought to engage UMG in discussion to resolve the ongoing harm he has suffered as a result of UMG's action. UMG refused to engage in negotiations and insisted that UMG is not responsible for its own actions. Instead, UMG has pointed the finger at Mr. Duckworth, insisting that Drake should initiate legal action against Mr. Duckworth rather than UMG, and even threatened to bring its own legal claims against Mr. Duckworth if Drake was to pursue claims against UMG. Now, this is interesting. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest reasons why this particular lawsuit, in my opinion, now legal pundits, you all let me know, was because of the fact that in this song, Not Like Us, he was referred to being a PDF file. All right. So what it looks like that they're saying that UMG told them that if Drake has a problem with anybody, he needs to take it up with Kendrick. He don't need to take it up with us, with them. Because again, you all have to understand, UMG is the umbrella company that owns Interscope and Republic Records. Drake is on Republic. Kendrick is on Interscope. Let's continue to get in his. Streaming and licensing is a zero-sum game. Every time a song breaks through, it means another artist does not. That's competition. That's what that is. That's competition. Even as they mentioned earlier about 640 million songs being played or being introduced yearly to the consuming audience, they're just going to be songs that are going to resonate with the audience more than another song will resonate with an audience. So let's continue. Every time a song breaks through, it means another artist does not. That's the nature of competition. UMG's choice to saturate the music market with Not Like Us comes at the expense of its other artists like Drake. Now, I wonder, was he having this type of issues when his albums were pushed toward the forefront when he was the top big dog? Because you remember, as UMG, he has been probably for the past 9 or 10 years their cash cow. And so when his songs pushed through, other than the other artists' songs have pushed through, was he having this same type of vitriol for that? I doubt that he was, because you all remember he signed like what, a $300 or $400 million contract with UMG. Now, all of this is coming to play because he lost a rap battle that he initiated, that Drake initiated. And this is a rap battle he has been subbing and all this stuff to Kendrick for years now, having interviews where he's talked about Kendrick. So you're telling me in a brief span between May 2024 and November 2024, Drake has taken that much of a hit? Because if Drake puts new music, because all he has to do is put out new music. Drake has hundreds of millions of fans across the world. All Drake has to do is put new music out. And those hundreds of millions of fans are going to get his music. And if he's saying what UMG is doing, he is going to want UMG to put this kind of effort behind him as well, if they haven't already. Because we've seen from what he has mentioned in this particular petition that UMG has been fined for this type of behavior. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, I guess. Petitioner Frozen Moments LLC, and this is Drake's LLC, is a limited liability company registered in the state of Florida. Frozen Moments is an entity wholly owned by Drake, through which Drake furnishes his recording services as a vocalist and musician, and is the copyright holder of Drake's sound recordings, including music videos. As such, Petitioner competes with Interscope. Respondent UMG is a wholly owned subsidiary of Universal Group NV, a publicly owned limited liability company incorporated under the laws of the Netherlands. UMG is a Delaware corporation registered to do business in the state of New York. UMG has offices at where they have their offices, and UMG has divisions including but not limited to Interscope, which represents Mr. Kendrick Lamar, Republic Records, which represents Drake. Interscope publicity teams operates out of their Broadway office in New York. Respondent Spotify USA is a Delaware corporation with headquarters in New York City at where they're located and is a digital music podcast and video service. Jurisdiction and venue. This court has personal jurisdiction over UMG pursuant to CPLR 302. UMG regularly transacts business within the state of New York, including by doing business and entering into contracts with New York-based Spotify, licensing and promoting music to streaming and radio broadcasting services within the state, and supplying its music management and publicity services in the state. The events at issue include UMG's licensing contract with Spotify and payments to New York-based radio stations to inflate the popularity of the song occurred within the state. UMG also owns, uses, or possesses real property at its office in New York, where it hosts offices for its catalog division, publishing arm, Universal Music Publishing Group. UMG employs numerous individuals within the state as its marketing partnerships, media and properties, and publicity professional groups operates outside of the New York offices. This court has personal jurisdiction over Spotify. It talks about Spotify and the same thing, transacting the business. 26. Venue is proper pursuant to CPLR 503C because a foreign corporation authorized to transact business in the state shall be deemed a resident of the county in which its principal office is located. Okay. So here's what the petitioner requires. We're almost through. We got about 3 or 4 more pages. Petitioner requires pre-action discovery and preservation. Frozen Moments has commenced this special proceeding pursuant to CPLR 3102C to seek pre-action discovery to allow petitioner to, number 1, identify appropriate defendants and frame a complaint for a claim under the Racketeer, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act. So they're wanting to make this a RICO charge. And 2, identify appropriate defendants and frame a complaint for a claim under Section 349 of the New York General Business Law. So, number 28, civil RICO. Petitioner has a viable cause of action for civil RICO with predicate acts of wire fraud, mail fraud, and or bribery for UMG's payments to unknown third parties in the form of reduced licensing fees to Spotify. However, petitioner requires additional information in order to frame his complaint and satisfy the heightened rule 9B pleading standards applicable to complaint sounding in fraud. Specifically, petitioner requires information about the method in which the third parties were paid in order to determine which underlying predicate acts to plead and require information about which benefits were conferred upon UMG in exchange for the payments. Additionally, petitioner lacks sufficient information to identify the third parties who acted in conspiring with UMG. So again, as I read earlier, they were wanting UMG to, the courts to order UMG to provide this information to them so that they can craft their lawsuit, I guess, up under this RICO Act. Let's see what's going on. What we got here. Drake around the world, never. His music was okay, but it wasn't his ghostwriters. Everyone knew that in never saying anything. He's a joke. A clown, what was this? A clown wearing a false crown. All right. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, Tracy Woods. It says, "Hey Pam, thank you again so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Hey Tracy, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. We're going to continue. We're gonna go. We've got a couple more pages to do because this is all what they're doing. It's a couple more pages. We're at number 13 of 17. We're almost done, y'all. Deceptive business practices and false advertising. The petitioner has information that agents of UMG paid at least one third party to use bots to stream the song on Spotify. Now, you remember I talked about earlier, if you go back to DJ Academic's stream that he had this particular person who came in and he called in and he said that he was paid about $2,500 to put about 30,000 bots, get 30,000 bots together to do this stream, which you let me tell it, that's extremely low, because that's to put 30,000 bots out there to make 30,000 social media handles. But anyway, this is what was said. On information and belief, this practice intended to multiply it's extended to multiple third parties to artificially stream the song and video. UMG also gave financial benefits to Spotify and other unknown parties to promote and play the song and video without disclosing these payments. UMG then touted the success of the song and video, knowing the success was artificially inflated by its own manipulation. And all of this seems like a underhanded dig at Kendrick Lamar, as if Kendrick Lamar wouldn't have the ability to have fans and stuff like that for this to happen organically. Again, I'm not telling you that it did. I'm not telling you that it didn't. But I can kind of see the underlying stuff that's going on. And again, that's going back to this whole beef. These practices harm consumers. They also violate the New York Deceptive Business Act and the New York False Advertising Act. Without the requested pre-litigation discovery, petitioner lacks sufficient information to identify the known but anonymous third-party streamer and to identify any additional streamers to whom UMG paid. Petitioner also lacks sufficient facts to frame the complaint regarding to what exchange for UMG payments. The petitioner seeks the following limited pre-action disclosure from UMG. Number one, documents and communication sufficient to show the identities of all third parties at UMG, its agents, or anyone working in the behalf of UMG, Interscope, paid without public disclosure to promote, publish, or recommend the song, its accompanying cover image, or video, including but not limited to radio stations, social media influencers, music platforms, music publications, as well as the dates, methods, and amount of those payments. Number two, documents and communication sufficient to show the identities of all third parties at UMG and its agents or anyone working on behalf of UMG Interscope paid to use bots or any other similar technology to stream the song or video, as well as the dates, methods, and amount of those payments. Number three, documents and communication sufficient to show what the third parties agreed to provide and did provide in exchange for those payments. The petitioner seeks the following limited pre-action disclosure from Spotify. And so they want the documents and the communication sufficient to show the dates and methods of their financial benefits. So it's basically the same kind of information in number 30, in number 31 that the petitioners want from Spotify as well. It says here, number 32, petitioner has further commenced this special proceeding pursuant to CPLR 3102C to seek an order requiring UMG, including Interscope and all other divisions, as well as UMG directors, officers, and relevant employees to preserve all documents and communications regarding the song, image, and video during the pendency of any litigation that petitioner commences against respondent and or any unknown third parties for the underlying cause of action discussed herein. Petitioners expect that much of the relevant evidence will be in the form of messages on social media platforms, payment applications, text messages, including but not limited to iMessage and WhatsApp, which may not be preserved in the usual course. Petitioner is aware that senior executives at UMG regularly communicate for businesses through messaging platforms and applications. My. 33, Exhibit A to verify petition is proposed to submit this at Deuces Tecum to UMG, commanding UMG to produce the UMG requested information. 34, Exhibit B, the verified, this is for Spotify. Exhibit C, to the verified petition as a proposed order authorizing pursuant to CPLR 3102C the issuance of subpoenas Deuces Tecum in the form of subpoenas attached as Exhibit A and B. 36. No previous application has been made for the relief requested herein. And so they're going to go through. Am I going to read this? This is just basically asking them, telling them what they want to preserve all this information. And this is Aubrey Drake's signature and everything like that. Let me get back over here. Y'all tell me what y'all think about all of this. Janelle, must be because Kendrick said you never thought OVO was working for me. Well, Drake trying to find out. Well, this is going to be interesting. They're wanting to take this particular petition. Oh Lord, I'm so sorry. Let me go back up. I'm trying to get what they call it. This verified petition. They're wanting to take that and use that as the affidavits and the warrant to be able to get all the information that they're requesting. So, let's see. I think I read everything that you all have said. What do y'all think? Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button for me. What are y'all thinking about this? Do you think Drake has a case? Because this is interesting. Because this seems like he's going to expose his own record company, even because it's not this is not benefiting Drake at this point, and it's benefiting Kendrick. And like I said, payola and all these other stuff, you can't make me believe that record companies throughout the ages have not been doing this on some kind of level for years. And like I said, there's no way that you can make me believe that Drake has not benefited from this in the past years. But it just seems like within this particular rap beef, he's gotten upset. He he has decided to take this to court so that he can, because he's upset that the way that Not Like Us has ballooned in the past 5 or 6 months for him is unbearable. Again, because they're talking about him. K Rich 509, thank you so much for watching my stream. He says he has never looked more soft and detached from the culture. You lost, boy. And I think publicly that is what everyone is seeing. But I think we would be remiss, because again, I think that Drake is doing this because his ego has been burst. I think this is something that Drake has known about. As long as it was benefiting him, it was fine. Now that it's not benefiting him, he has an issue. So he is going to complain about this. He's going to go to court and he is going to play. And I think he's going to cut his nose off despite his face. Because here's my question, and you legal pundits, y'all let me know. Here is my question. If it is shown, let's say that they get all this information and it is shown that there are several artists in UMG that have benefited with this payola, are they going to have to pay some of this money back? Because Frozen Moments LLC has made a lot of money in regards to Drake in all of his things that he's done. Are they going to have to pay money back if they pull up these WhatsApp, these iMessages and all this other stuff? If they pull up all this stuff and they see that Drake has participated in this just like any other artist has participated like this, good, bad, or indifferent, are they going to pay money? I mean, is he so hell bent? Again, if anybody is breaking the law, then they should be held accountable for that. I'm just looking at this is Drake seeing the forest for the trees? because you can't make me believe that he has not benefited from this as he's saying that others have benefited from it. Y'all let me know. Drake has a case. He won't be successful in accessing the black box. It makes so many people vulnerable, even outside the music industry. The impact of this would be far too large for the benefits. I think so too. You're exactly right. I think so too. He's cutting his nose off to spite his face. Because I think that you will find that there are going to be a lot of stuff going on. And he may find himself having to pay back some money that he wasn't necessarily trying to pay back, simply because of the fact that he lost the battle that he initiated. Courts will laugh at it, and Kendrick will serve it back up as another nail in the coffin, I think. Possibly. But I'm interested to know, even just on if you're talking about this particular rap battle, because you remember Kendrick said he had 5+5. Now, I don't know if any of that music is in this G and X album that he just dropped. But is there any information in this information? Is anybody going to start? Because once you start pulling this RICO and all this other stuff, a lot of people are going to start pulling a lot of information coming from a lot of different places. And Drake has to be prepared that he thinks that he's keeping this at a level of UMG or making UMG silence UMG. He may be popping out some stuff that he may not want to have come out. But we will see. All right, people. We do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Put it down in the comments. What are y'all thinking about this lawsuit, this petition that Drake is putting up for UMG to respond, to give them information? And before you go, because I just saw this and I want to make sure that I bring it up. UMG has responded. And so I'm going to share my screen. This is coming from Billboard. It says Universal Music Group responds to Drake's legal filing over Not Like Us, offensive and untrue. And this is written by Chris Eggerston. It says the suggestion that UMG would do anything to undermine any of its artists is offensive and untrue, said the company in a statement. UMG, Universal Music Group, UMG, has responded to allegations by UMG artist Drake that it conspired with Spotify to artificially boost the screen changed. The popularity of Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us in a Blockbuster legal filing on Monday, November 25th. In quotes, the suggestion that UMG would do anything to undermine any of its artists is offensive and untrue, the company said in a statement to Billboard. We employ the highest ethical practice in our marketing and promotional campaigns. No amount of contrived and observed legal arguments in this pre-action submission can mask the fact that fans chose the music they want to hear. And it just talks about the filing and everything like that. So I'm just going to leave it there. Let me see if Spotify said anything. It says, among other claims, Drake's attorneys accuse UMG of charging Spotify reduce. Okay, we went over that. Okay, it doesn't look like Spotify said anything to that. All right, that's it for that. What do y'all think about this? Y'all, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Again, Drake has put out a petition for a lawsuit for UMG to answer about how Not Like Us rose to the top of the charts. All right, people. Again, we do this every week. Please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand, that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye.